May 28th on the Pump Fake, continuing our tour throughout all of the divisions today with the NFC North and my good friend Ben Raven. The Pump Fake starts right now. You like the new intro? It sounds more of a it's like very groovy Scooby-Doo 1960s vibe.
There's a lot less me in it. No, just kidding.
I think you
No, I
yeah, I
like
was gonna say there was like one with the Trivia Bowl stuff. But
No,
yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
how are you, buddy? We
No, I
haven't
like
done a
it.
show together. We haven't done a show together in a while. How are you?
Yeah, I know. I was bummed to miss out on Trivia Bowl and all that, but yeah, it's just kind of been adjusting to the new grad school element of being an NFL beat writer and a 35-year-old man with responsibilities. So it's but I'm good, man. Honestly, it's that time of year where I'm looking at the calendar and I'm getting pretty psyched up about my next 2 months. I love football, but this is the time of the year where I'm like, time to go to sleep on it for 5 weeks and then get that
There you
feeling
go.
recharged again.
Absolutely. OTAs are starting for some teams. Have already been in full swing for some teams. Have the Lions already had theirs, or are you waiting on that still?
Yeah, we had our first round of access with OTAs last Thursday. There's another
Mhm.
this Thursday, and then there's another in June, and then there's mini camp, and then we're almost at the finish line, man. Yeah, it's that sloppy, padless, weird time of year. I'll tell you, I was happy to see OTAs because I love rookie mini camp. It's nice getting to meet those guys, but like when the first 20 snaps and 19 of them are fumbles, you're like, all right, let's get out of here. I've covered CMU before.
I was at Steelers OTAs on Thursday. I'll be back there on Thursday again. Russell Wilson gave me a quick minute. That was very nice of him to
All right.
talk with him for a quick minute. Yeah, it was a good time. So I'll be back there Thursday again, seeing what has in store for Pittsburgh. But we'll stick with the NFC North today. Your Detroit Lions. We'll start there. Obviously, played in the NFC Championship game this past January. We're within a few questionable choices of making it to the Super Bowl, but got better in the offseason. Added the likes of DJ Reader, drafted really well, especially in the secondary, bringing in Terry and Arnold and Ennis Registraw. So a couple nice additions there. Your overall feelings on the Detroit Lions as they currently stand?
This up and coming team, the best team in the NFC North, found a way to get better. And I mean, Brad Holmes kind of staying true to his guns of like best player approach. They just don't give a crap about positions. They don't give a crap what other people say about positions. They really do draft based on fit and who they perceive to be the best player. And they approach that in free agency too, man, because DJ Reader, man, I mean, they attacked their needs. DJ Reader, when healthy, is one of the best nose tackles in football, if not the best nose tackle in football. This was the top 5 run defense last year that had some pass rush problems. I'm expecting even more from Aiden Hutchinson, who was a freak show last year in just his second year. He's in that like Max Crosby territory of workhorse levels too. So that's like really optimism inducing about how much more this guy has left to his game. And somebody that people forgot about is Aleem McNeil, was a freaking breakout dude last year when he was healthy. And they attacked those weaknesses. They added Reader to let McNeil continue in the role he was in last year. They take a wild card on Marcus Davenport. I know it's been a very down portion of his up and down career right now, but I will say the one thing that does make me feel good about that signing is there aren't many people more than Dan Campbell or Aaron Glenn who know Marcus Davenport and what he can do better. So I just think that's, in terms of fit, high risk, high reward, that's a great pick. And then you talk about the draft, man, 2 cornerbacks. You lose Cam Sutton in dramatic fashion this offseason. But honestly, I look at that cornerback room. I look at Carlton Davis's fit. I look at Amik Robertson. I look at Brian Branch, who's going to move between the slot and safety. And I look at how Ifatu Melifonwu and Kirby Joseph, man, some of the best blitzing DBs in the league they proved themselves to be last year. So I just really think that they attacked the areas that they needed to attack without being one of those teams that is like, all right, Need an offensive tackle, take an offensive tackle. Need a corner, take a
Right.
corner. They got Terry and freaking Arnold at pick 24, man. There's not too many people who thought that would have been possible going into the draft. So I just think, all right, there you go. Secondary's better, both short-term and long-term, and that was the main concern.
And obviously getting a couple of their guys taken care of and paid, extending Amon-Ra St. Brown and giving Jared Goff the gross domestic product of the city of Detroit. What are your overall thoughts on both deals as it pertains to St. Brown and Goff?
Hey, man, $444 million to 3 players, St. Brown, Sewell, and Goff. St. Brown had to happen. Sewell,
yeah,
good on them for getting ahead of that, setting the market. Sewell is the freaking cornerstone piece of this franchise. If you told me to name the most important player to this franchise without including quarterback, I look at Penei Sewell. So good on them. And the Goff, man, that's a lot of money, no doubt about it. I do think that just the way he's fit with this coaching staff, the way he fits with Amon-Ra St. Brown, the way he fits with Sam Laporta, the offensive line you have in place for him. Because like I see all these rankings, like PFF's quarterback rankings, and Goff's at number 16, and they're hand-wringing over, oh, he's not that good under pressure. Well, he led the league in yards against the blitz last season. He was up near the top in QB rating against the blitz last season. And guess what? He doesn't get pressured that much. And that was I lost the word I'm looking for, but that was a goal of this franchise when they went with Jared Goff as their quarterback. It was like, all right, somehow there's a great offensive line already in place when they got here in 2021, and they've just continued to make it better and younger and deeper, and that was not by mistake. So, when you eliminate the risks that come along with Jared Goff being that highly paid and being your quarterback moving forward, that's how you win with Jared Goff. Because people get lost in the Ben Johnson conversation. It was Dan Campbell calling the plays in 2021 when Goff took off and started to show life and started to fit and started to get accepted in the city and by the fans of this team. Yes, Ben Johnson has taken that to another level, but I'm just saying, when Ben Johnson does eventually get a head coaching job outside of these halls, it's going to be a hit, no doubt. But as long as Dan Campbell is here, everything's going to be okay. And the Lions have never been able to say that before.
Do you give me a scale of 1 to 10 confidence on your thoughts on their ability to get back to the NFC title game and maybe finally, get over that hump? 1 to 10, what are you feeling right now as compared to, the rest of the NFC? They're still, one of the top dogs.
Yeah, back to the NFC title game. I feel like 7.5 is a strong rating. I'm being realistic about their chances, but it's a division winning up and coming team that did get better. The Super Bowl thing, that's tough, man. I mean, it's going to be hard just to get back to the NFC title game because thing that I know we're about to get into is that their division got better. The 49ers are still the 49ers. The Cowboys are a wild card, especially with a quarterback on a contract year. Like there are this conference has got some legit teams at the top. It might be a little weaker at the middle or at the bottom, but it's not going to be easy. But they should. I mean, if they don't get back to the NFC title game, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, well, did they take a step back? And then you're going to get those outside voices and stuff like that. So I think the lowest bar of acceptance is getting back to the NFC title game, and I think that's kind of the position they put themselves in.
Sure. I think Detroit's going to be very good. I think that they are going to, be a 11-win team, maybe a 12-win team. That said, I don't think they're going to win the NFC North because I'm very high on the Green Bay Packers this year. Maybe that's just me being a Jordan Love mark and just really loving what I saw from him last year. That's another team that got better. They fired defensive coordinator Joe Barry, which had to happen. They pay Xavier McKinney. They bring over Josh Jacobs. They've made some positive moves in their own right. And just looking at how Love operated with this very young offense, I wouldn't say they have, a definitive number one, like true one receiver, but they've got a lot of, there's Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. All of them have some role in the offense. And they have a bunch of, B- B+ receivers that are a pain in the butt to deal with when you have 4 or 5 of them. Plus 2 good tight ends. Like I said, adding Josh Jacobs. I really like what Green Bay can be this year, especially with year 2 of Jordan Love as the starter. It was second in the NFL in touchdown passes last year and didn't really hit a consistent stride until the middle of the year. I really like Green Bay this year. What say you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I remember when the Lions went into Green Bay last year and just beat the crap out of the Packers in front of a national audience. I mean, I was tweeting positive things about Jordan Love, like, "Hey guys, watch out! This guy's coming." I mean, whenever he had more than 1.8 seconds to throw the ball in the pocket, it looked pretty good coming out of his hand. So, I mean, I believe in the Packers. I do think that we're talking about year 2 of a quarterback. We're talking about year 2 with these young wide receivers. And you bring up the fact that like they don't have the go up and get it stud. They do have some potential studs, no doubt about it. I mean, just Watson by his frame and his explosion and that vertical ability. I mean, there's going to be some big play potential there. But looking at these teams in 24, 25, I do feel like the Lions defensively are kind of built to handle what this Packers team is right now. I mean, talk to me in a year when Jordan Love is another year deeper as a starter and probably continues his ascent into that next tier of quarterbacks, because he does seem to have that superstar ability to his game. But I do think that there might be some year 2 bumps, learning curves along the way right there. And I think Detroit is a little further along in their progression, especially they've been there, they've done it. Yeah, they dropped that game to the Packers at home late in the season last year, but I mean, these are going to be great matchups next season that I can't wait to see, but I do give the edge to the Lions still this year. Like I said, talk to me next year. I think this Packers, I love what they do on the offensive line. I love how they draft on the offensive line. I love how they draft on defense, because if that Packers defense takes the step forward and gets better, they've got some potential like studs, like premium picks, premium free agents dotted all over that defense. So that is the one area. Yeah, Jordan Love, but if that Packers defense delivers on expectations, that's how they catch up to the Lions sooner than later.
Yeah, and it's right now they have a low bar to clear compared to what where they were at last year. I mean, Green Bay fans throughout the entire season were, as a Steelers fan, it was, fire Matt Canada, fire Matt Canada. And Green Bay, it was fire Joe Barry. Oh my God, why is he still here? And so I think that, again, the bar is low. And if there's even some formidable progression, then I really like the what Green Bay can be this year. Especially, I mean, we talked about the Lions' performance against the 49ers. The Packers had them dead to rights as well. But again, I think that lack of experience showed up late in that game in the divisional round. So I'm excited for what both Green Bay and Detroit can be. I'm also excited for what the Chicago Bears can be. In the first iteration of my game-by-game picks, I think I have the Bears as the number 7 seed in the NFC. I think that you look at, I think they're going to be very fun. Yeah. I think that even if they only win 7 games or 8 games, I think they're going to be at least a fun 8-win team. Like they're not going to be a boring watch. But you look at the support system they've put around Caleb Williams, where he has DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen, 3 really good receivers right off the bat. A solid run game. They bring over DeAndre Swift. Defensively, they got guys at all 3 levels that I like, with Montez Sweat, Tremaine Edmonds, Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker. Like there's a lot to like about the Chicago Bears this season. And if Caleb Williams can have a productive rookie season, this is a team that I think in a somewhat top-heavy NFC and a thin middle could sneak in as a 9-win 7 seed.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the case that Caleb Williams is walking into one of, if not the best situations for a rookie quarterback. I mean, like you said, those 3 receivers, and then you throw Swift, the dynamic ability of Swift. I mean, injury concerns be damned. I mean, when the guy's on the field, he's a heck of a slasher and just a heck of a pass catching option too. But Cole Kmet's underrated. They have a functional varsity level offensive line for the first time in a couple of years, just through development and kind of addressing that a little too late in Justin Fields' tenure. But yeah, the Bears are tough to figure out just because, it's a rookie quarterback, but it's a legit rookie quarterback with those 3 receivers, with a good tight end, with a decent running game, with a better offensive line. And like you said, I mean, they went out and got Montez Sweat, paid Montez Sweat, spent a ton of money on that defense last year in free agency, somehow keep Jalen Johnson through all that stuff last season. And just, The Bears are tough to figure out for sure, but I do think that if you put the bar at 7-8, sneaking, flirting with a wild card game, I could buy into that just because of the NFC, just because of the teams they're competing with for that. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams, I mean, this NFC North division is about to be freaking crazy. Maybe not this year, but 25, 26, if health, delete health from the equation. I mean, you're looking at Jordan Love, you're looking at Caleb Williams with those weapons in place. I mean, even if Allen is one and done in Chicago, who cares? They are still built to move that thing forward. And then it's Minnesota, man. We're not on Minnesota yet, but every team invested in like potential futures of their franchise. So it's just like, this is an exciting division. And I do think the Bears were better last year than they get credit for. So if Caleb Williams comes in, that offense clicks, all that stuff, sticking with the coach, see how that works out with the defense. He put a ton of resources in. There's no question, especially if the Vikings have a down year, there's no question that the Bears could compete for a wild card spot.
Yeah, and I think that bringing in Shane Waldron as the new offensive coordinator, that's going to help a lot. We just talked about Joe Barry being, the bottom of the barrel type coordinator. Luke Getsy wasn't much better as an offensive coordinator last season. So a big upgrade from Luke Getsy to Shane Waldron with a quarterback that, has a lot of expectations, but is set up to succeed. And you pointed it out, like, I'm sure Justin Fields is kind of wondering, hey, where was this when I was there? But, all this stuff kind of happening. Again, they were a 7-win team last year. If they don't make the trade with the Panthers the year prior, they're not sitting in this situation with Caleb Williams. But, the fact that they were sitting with the number 1 overall pick and just feel like, okay, we can't not draft this guy. Sorry, Justin, but, we wish you well. We're going to take Caleb Williams. Yeah, I think that Chicago can be very fun. Give me your thoughts on the Vikings, though. Our mutual buddy Thor Nystrom has just the absolute a love affair with J.J. McCarthy, and his hometown Vikings selected the Michigan quarterback. A quarterback room of Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy. I don't know how confident I am in that. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, C.J. Hawkins said they got the weapons. And defensively, Brian Flores is going to blitz to his dying breath. And I honor the commitment to the bit. But what are your overall thoughts on Minnesota and what they can be this year?
I think they're going to be the team that they were last year without Kirk Cousins under center. But I do think that this team has a pretty nice path forward. Like I identified myself as a positive believer of J.J. McCarthy, and it didn't really have anything to do with where I was coming from, because it was like, I'd always hear people talking about, the Michigan offense he operated in, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, the dude throws like 17, 18 times a game, has 3 tight window freaking dimes, isn't afraid to put it up there. I mean, Roman Wilson is like 5'4", Spud Webb style, and he's throwing it up to him in triple coverage in the back of the end zones and stuff. So he's got that. I think he's just got that right kind of tapered aggression to his game. He hasn't been able to show it a lot, but this is a dynamic athlete. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you QB wins matter, but playing in those type of environments, playing against those solid quality teams like he has at the end of the last 3 seasons, that doesn't hurt. So I just think, even if he's not the starter going into next season, I just think him falling in that offense, falling in that system, falling in that region, those are the things that needed to happen for J.J. McCarthy to kind of hit on his potential. Because no, he wouldn't have been a perfect quarterback for just any of those quarterback needy teams. But I do think he was the perfect quarterback for Minnesota to build and develop. And it's a nice situation too, because I mean, Sam Darnold, I'm not going to go down that road of saying maybe, but like he is a good, decent fit in that offense. And especially if Justin Jefferson is being Justin Jefferson, I mean, they have a walk-off hitter in Justin Jefferson. I mean, he is the type of guy that can go out and win games. I mean, and then you talk about Brian Flores. Yeah, aggressive move to go get Dallas Turner, man. But like, you just gave Brian Flores another freaking pass rusher, another premium pass rusher. So like, I'm lowest on the Vikings of all the 4 NFC North teams this year. But even they have some pieces that make you go, all right, they could compete. They're not going to be dog crap bottom of the barrel of the NFC. Right. They might be last place NFC North, but like, I don't know. It's the NFC North, man. That's what I kind of alluded to when we were talking about the Bears. It's like, man, if the Vikings kind of take it slow with JJ, get him comfortable, keep Justin Jefferson in town at all costs, it's easy to see Minnesota being in the mix in 25-26. I mean, you could make it. It's crazy. That's why it was important for the Lions to get those extensions done when they did this year. Goff, Sewell, and St. Brown, because you need to lock that core up because of what's coming down the line. Because it's real. It's real.
Yeah, and even if the Vikings do finish in last place, it's not going to be a 4-win last place team. I mean, that's still a team that can win 6, 7, potentially 8 games if all works well with the quarterback position. I assume that they're going to start the year though with Sam Darnold. I don't think you pay a guy $10 million a year to just sit all year.
I would expect Darnold to probably enter the season as a starter. I don't think JJ, I don't think you need to take it super slow with him, but I do think that if you can delay the inevitable, get him comfortable, get him in that system, just because it is going to be a different system than he was running at Michigan. I mean, there just are different intricacies to that. And that is the steepest part of his learning curve if he's going to be a year one player. But yeah, 10 million, Sam Darnold knows that offense, throw him to the fire, see what happens.
And again, going to, a situation like Minnesota with a Kevin O'Connell system, which is very, I think that is, you pointed out, that is a very good place for McCarthy to go, rather than, one of the other quarterback needy teams. I think that being paired with Kevin O'Connell will certainly help his development and raise his ceiling and his floor, really, as to what he could be going forward. If you had to guess right now, 1 through 4, what would the NFC North look like come the end of the season in terms of standings?
Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I do think it'll be in the order we talked about them.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. I would switch the top 2, but I think that they could finish with like the same record, and somehow the Packers just get it in tiebreakers. But no, I'm very bullish on the Green Bay Packers. Maybe it's just I could just be a ginormous Jordan Love guy and think that he's just gonna take an even bigger step forward. But I'm very much looking forward to both of those matchups this year. We get Bears Lions on Thanksgiving. That's like the third time in the past 5 years they've done that game, by the way. But at least this time we have a good Lions team and a potentially good Bears team rather than Chase Daniel versus David Blau.
Yeah, man, exactly. It's not Mitch Trubisky, Chase Daniel, David Blau. Who was another one in there? Jeff Driscoll might have been in the mix in one of those. So yeah, it was some. Yeah, I'm going into year 6 on the beat, and this will be my 3rd Bears-Lions Thanksgiving game. I was really hoping the Jaguars-Lions Thanksgiving rumors were true. That just would have spoke to my heart. But hey, I'll take Caleb Williams and the Bears. But yeah, that's and the Lions end the season with the Vikings. That's a plus for the Lions and a potential NFC North hunt. But early primetime matchup with the Packers. It might not be this year, but this could be the best division in football starting next season. I really do believe that, even if it's just the Lions, Bears, and Packers.
No, certainly possible. I had something to say. Oh yeah, on the Jeff Driscoll front, I'm pretty sure Jeff Driscoll was one of those years, because wasn't he? I feel like on the first play from scrimmage, they ran a play action pass, and either Driscoll or Blau, it was one of those two, threw like a 70-yard pass.
Oh yeah,
on the first
David
play.
Blau's first career NFL pass, 75-yard bomb to Kenny Galladay for a touchdown.
Goodness gracious.
Unbelievable. Looking back at those years and looking at my life now is like two different existences.
It is crazy because, you and I have been friends for quite a while now, and doing, talking Lions in 2020 compared to talking Lions now. talking Lions now, it's a night and day difference. So I'm sure it's exciting for you and everybody else on the beat as well.
Oh man, it just breathes life into the beat. And it all started with Dan Campbell. Going from Matt Patricia to Dan Campbell is like that was more than enough to breathe life into the job. And then the team's actually good, like 2 years ahead of schedule. So yeah, it was I will not lie, it was fun going to an NFC title game in San Francisco. So I'm more than open to more of those without caring what happens.
I'm sure that it's been a welcome change covering a winning team. Before we get on out of here, you brought up Justin Jefferson and all these pending contracts. What do we think Justin Jefferson gets? Because not only does he need paid, CeeDee Lamb needs paid, Jamar Chase needs paid. These 3 guys are going to be really resetting the market, and whoever the last one of them to get paid is might be staring at like a $35 million a year deal.
Oh man, I know. There's no way in my mind it's less than 30. And you could definitely talk me into like 4 years, 35 mil each. It's Justin Jefferson.
Goodness.
especially with a potential quarterback shift and a slight rebuilding year in there. I mean, it's not going to be cheap. I mean, I think you're going to, God, that's crazy to think about, man. Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you bring up a good point because there's going to be some agent competition between like a Chase and a Jefferson and a Lamb. And I mean, they're going to, whoever gets the most is going to be like, geez, if I was Jefferson too, I'd hold out to be the third in that line too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like you don't necessarily want to be the first guy to get paid because you know that you can just point and be like, okay, I'm getting at least that. Give me a little bit more.
Exactly. Watch somebody give Lamb $30 million a year, and then you see Chase get $32 million a year, and then he comes to the table and he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting $35 a year, and you can't even argue with me, or I'll go find somebody else that will."
Yeah, because somebody will. Somebody will.
It's just, just like I said, he's the biggest walk-off hitter in the game. I mean, if the Vikings win 9 games this year, it's because Justin Jefferson put on his Calvin Johnson shoes every Sunday. And he's got the type of ability to do that.
I think that the Chase stuff in Cincinnati will get done. I'm intrigued though to see CD in Dallas. That feels like something that where he and Dak could both go elsewhere.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, geez, you look at the Lions. I mean, there's not a lot of teams willing to put $442 million towards 2 or 3 players. And I mean, you talk about Lamb and Prescott, that's going to be a hefty stake, man. I mean, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what happens though. And I'm excited to see what happens with the Detroit Lions too. I always enjoy talking to you, buddy. Very much looking forward to this season, continuing to do stuff like this. We'll get you on a trivia bowl before the summer's over. We have to
whoever won last, they're an interim champion. You remind them. I have not defended my crown.
We actually had to move that one, so you're actually So
all right.
Yeah, don't worry. So you're still you're still very much in the mix. So
I'm there.
We'll throw you. Yeah, we'll throw you on that panel. Just let me know what works best for you, and we can revolve around that. But appreciate you hopping on with me, buddy. What do you have coming work wise? Did you any sort of fun feature pieces or anything like that?
We'll probably just kind of close the summer out and try to start thinking about maybe anything like that in August when camp comes around. But got another wrestling show this Thursday night, Combat One Wrestling. That'll be live on IWTV.
What are any notable matches on the card that I should keep in mind?
Yeah, we've actually got, it's like the Legacy of Champions show, and we're naming a champion. Like it's kind of like the old like Night of Champions thing that WWE used to do. Like we're gonna, every belt's on the line, introducing the Women of Combat Division Championship, introducing our Tag Team Champion Division.
Sick.
Alex Shelley's division is Crash Division Championship against my guy Nate Bach and Damian Frenier, and I believe the main event is Matt Riddle defending his One World Championship against Simon Gotch.
Simon Gotch, what a shout that I haven't heard in I don't know how long.
I know when they as far he's on the poster, he's got the mustache. I know when I saw his name come through on like the match listing to kind of study up for and stuff, I was like, let's go, that's fun. I want to see him and Riddle. And then they're also doing like a freaking like a Royal Rumble, Legacy Rumble type match where the winner's going to get the championship match at their freaking show in California. Combat One going on nationwide here. Yeah, so big stuff, man. It's fun. But yeah, another OTA session this week, next week, mandatory camp, and like 3 more availabilities until the summer and Trivia Bowl season.
There you go. Well, I'm very much looking forward to the Trivia Bowl season part of that with you, buddy. Take care until then. Thanks for hopping on with me as always.
Always.